Routines in prison, and also phases. I don't know if this is going to be two totally different things. I'm going to try to tie them into this one video, but it could have potentially been two totally different videos. So for whatever reason, I was just thinking about getting locked up again recently. And not me personally, but just anybody in general who gets locked up again. More than once. It's not your first rodeo. You know, how long does it take a person like that to develop a routine, to get back into a routine? Maybe the same routine that they had the last time that they were locked up. And then throw into that, if you've never been locked up before, how long would it take a newbie, fresh meat, a fish, to develop a routine? Oh, you just be giving away all your commissary every single week. That's your routine. Glad that's not mine. Yo, yeah, don't ever speak to me. You a target. You a target like that little dog Spot, the mascot for the store Target. We got to step it up, Joe. Yeah, don't ever talk to nobody while locked up who's got a target on their back, because you could end up having one too. And I guess real quick, because I'm going to move on to the phases thing in this video, and we're going to go, we're going to go hard with the phases. I think back to the last time that I was locked up to do the 7 years that I would end up serving. I got into my routine like quick. Within 2 days or 4 days or whatever it was, I think I spent 2 days in classification, and then as soon as they moved me into Gen Pop, I was looking for a number 2 pencil for some graphite to bust that stuff up and make me some tattoo ink. And I was like, yo, who's trying to get a tattoo up in here? I knew I was going to be in for the long haul, and why not? Why not just get right up into the routine? X-nay on the sick nay. We ain't doing none of that, even though we did. But yeah, I got into a routine pretty quickly. And I just wonder, am I the only one? Like, if you've ever been locked up numerous times in your life, how quickly did you develop a routine? And if you've only been locked up one time in your life, how quickly did you develop any sort of a routine to be able to get through the time that you served? Please comment down below and let me know. With all of that being mentioned, folks, we're going to go ahead and get into phases. The many different phases of incarceration. The stages is what I initially had the idea to name this, but it's phases as well. Here today in this video, that's what we're going to talk about. So without further ado, what do you say we go ahead and we dive? That's Joe Doing Stuff, my other YouTube channel where I'm currently basically building an entire house by myself with the help of a dude by the name of Damon. But hey, no big deal. For anybody curious what's going on with that, you gotta go check out that other YouTube channel for any info related to that. Damn, I just used the whole dive scene for a plug to my other YouTube channel. That was golden, Joe. Head first up into this video. As I get into this, one thing that I want to mention is this is not completely in any sort of chronological order. Maybe at first it will be, but some of these things can hit you like a curveball and pop up to like the second thing that you experience, maybe even the first thing. What I'm trying to say is there's no real rhyme or reason to these phases. However, you're guaranteed to experience probably all of these phases if you ever do or you ever have served time in prison. Throughout the course of After Prison Show, I wonder how many times I've uttered the words in prison, while in prison. I used to say quite a bit back in the day. Even though there's no chronological order to this, I do believe the first thing that I'm going to mention is probably the first thing that you're going to experience, anybody's going to experience when they get locked up. That very first phase is going to be denial and sickness. Oh my God, how could I let this happen again? This is the fifth time I'm probably guaranteed to be going to prison. That's 5 different state numbers. Denial and sickness. Now this phase is guaranteed to set in sometime between the handcuffs going on and you getting placed in the back of that cop car, all the way up until you getting into general population or PC, whichever you fancy, and you get to thinking like, damn, my dumb ass is locked up again. Now with this denial and sickness, this is almost, and I don't mention this lightly, this comparison, but it's almost like being dope sick. Now I don't know what dope sickness is like because I've never experienced it, but I do know that it can last days, maybe even weeks. A week. And getting locked up, that initial denial and sickness could be somewhat, I know not very much, but somewhat comparable to being dope sick. You're gonna be balled up in that bunk with that wool blanket pulled up over your head, crying, potentially, possibly peeing and shitting all over yourself. I don't know. You're gonna be sick as at first. Whoo, that's gonna be that first phase that you're gonna go through. That panic's gonna be setting in. Oh my God, how much time am I gonna get? Is that girl gonna ride with me? Is anybody gonna be there? Will my parents pick up the phone? Do I have any real friends? There's nobody real out there. All the real ones is locked up. They're smoking crack out of chicken bones in here. That's the real ones. Another phase that you're guaranteed to go through, and maybe, I wonder, is there anybody who never went through this phase? If you never did, comment down below, because I guarantee, just like everybody, anybody who's ever served time has experienced that first phase, denial and sickness. Everybody has experienced this next one, the love-struck phase. You might not have ever even realized how much you loved that girl until you get locked up and she answers that phone and tells you that she's gonna be there. She ain't never going nowhere. Jody, who? Oh, hold on, there's a knock at the door. Hold on, can I put you on hold real quick? I know it's only 15-minute calls. It was just an Amazon delivery. Oh, that tickles. As much as I wanna make this comical and just go in this video and with all of these phases, I gotta throw in a very serious thing here. Prison can change you in so many ways. It can cause you to cut off all emotions. Sometimes it might be hard, impossible to cut those emotions back on. They ain't just a light switch. It might be easy to cut them off, or eventually you just learn to cut them off. But that button can sometimes get stuck off. And I've mentioned it before how I struggle with emotional connections. Being connected to anything out here emotionally. Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just super freaking broken. But when you're locked up and you get over that first phase and then that love-struck phase sets in. And again, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to this. That love-struck phase can come all the way at the end. Maybe you got a pen pal. And that's when it sets in. And you had already done all your time alone up until then. But dudes will be extra in love when that girl picks up and sends that and puts that money on the phone and shows up for visitation and writes that letter with that smell good on it, or the emails now. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with you, girl. Girl, I'm gonna lay down my life for you, girl. Did you send that? You didn't. The love-struck phase is something tough. Dudes is gonna be getting girls' names tattooed on their body, on their eyelid. Why'd you get her name tattooed above your eyeball? Because she the only thing that I see, you know what I'm saying? Well, I am awake and you are speaking English. Little line I took from Meet the Millers, or We're the Millers. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing that you ain't willing to do for that girl, including moving on to another phase. Let's go through these. The cooperation phase. Should I snitch? How much time am I really facing? I might just tell everything that I know so that I can get home to her before Jody does. I can't necessarily remember, me particularly, going through a phase when I thought about cooperating, but I have to believe that I did. I was, in fact, in a snitch factory, the jail, Western Tidewater Regional Jail, where everybody was snitching. And I was surrounded by it so much that I had to have contemplated it at least 400 times. Should I just tell on this dude that I bought this little quarter-ounce from? Maybe I could do 2 years instead of the 7.5 that I did. I'm not even gonna ask, comment down below if you've never gone through that phase, being locked up, where you didn't consider cooperating. Because a lot of people, hands down, flat out just did that. That was him, it was him. You better not be looking around. You know I'm pointing you dead out in the courtroom. You did it. You did it. You told me to do it. Shit, I don't know what you looking around for. It was you. Like a freaking airport airplane flagger. You crank that soldier boy. As much as I make jokes about that, it's a phase that everybody probably goes through. If you don't flat out do it, you're gonna think about it. Why am I being loyal and true to these folks? They don't give a about me. Say you didn't go through it and you're just as real as they get. Another phase that you can go through is what I like to refer to the reality crashes down phase. Now, this can relate to a lot of different things. This could relate to the fact that you realize you just wake up one morning and say, damn, you're looking at that top bunk with those gremlin-looking toes hanging over that bunk from your bunkie. Reality crashes down and you just realize you're gonna be here. You're stuck. You ain't going nowhere. Reality crashes down and maybe you did cooperate and that didn't work. You didn't get the time reduction that they said that they were gonna give to you. They lied to you. They played you. You played yourself. Or you jump out there onto that phone, you hit them damn buttons like it's an AK-47. We're sorry. The number you were trying to call. What? She didn't put no money on the phone. She just came and seen me. And she said that she was having problems getting up here. And then maybe she wouldn't be able to get up here anymore. Amazon package delivered. It was Jody! Yo, the reality crashes down phase is a tough cookie to swallow because, now mind you, this is in the prisoner's handbook that I'm writing. The reality crashes down phase is gonna make you go right back to phase number one. Denial and sickness. She couldn't, she wouldn't, she shouldn't, but she did. They wouldn't, they couldn't, they shouldn't, but they did. Reality crashes down. And ain't no guarantee how long, you're gonna be dealing with that for. The sickness, the drunkenness, the blankets up over your head and you're just bawling. I can't take this shit. Is there anybody else I can tell on? I tried to tell on everybody. My mom. Another phase that you're probably guaranteed to go through while locked up, I know that I went through it, is what I like to refer to as the legal work phase. Not everybody's got them a paid lawyer. Shit, where I come from and the time that I did, most everybody didn't have a paid lawyer. Not everybody had a paid lawyer. Most everybody had a court-appointed lawyer. So you got to work like you're a lawyer because you already know what your court-appointed lawyer is going to do. They're not going to do much of nothing. And one liberty, I guess, probably not the right word. One thing that is afforded to you even while serving time in most cases is the fact that you have the ability to go to a law library or maybe get legal items or literature in relation to your case. You are supposed to be allowed to, work your own defense. And me in particular, I went through this legal work phase. Unfortunately, I went through this phase from isolation, from solitary confinement. I didn't have to do it all from there. I could have done it, well before I went to isolation, but I guess a big part of me just wasn't trying to think about it. I knew that I was and I was just putting it off for as long as I possibly could. But while in isolation, I was going to be going to trial from there, or maybe shortly after I got released from isolation. I can't remember. But I know that that's when I really got into my legal work phase and I started trying to put my case together. And one of my biggest defenses was, how are you going to tell me that a canine dog can just get a hit? How can you convince me that you can't just tug on his leash and he's gonna pop up on the car? But that was, they destroyed that in court. As a matter of fact, it was the canine officer that they put up on the stand first and said that Sparky was getting training like 4 times a month and that he had led to the apprehension of like 40,000 kilos. Sparky was a good dog. His name carried weight, like all the weight he got up off of the street. So he was a proven police tool. And that defense was shot down pretty quick. But you're going to go through that legal defense phase. And then you're probably going to end up going through another reality crashes type of phase after you get sentenced, which could also be another phase entirely, going to court, getting time, and getting sick again. Because no matter how much you prepare yourself for it, you've got your defense, you're ready. Screw that court appointed. Yo, sit down. I got this. Hey, yo, how you going to tell me a canine can do 15 kilos? Your Honor, I've got some information I'd like to share. I remember, I'll use my case in particular, praying. Oh, God, praying. Another phase, the religious phase. We'll get to that in a minute. But I remember praying, hey, look, Lord, Lord, listen to me. Hey, listen to the track. If by any chance you give me anything under 15 years and I got another chance at life, I'm going to do it so different. I'm going to do it super different. I'm going to do it different as a bitch out there. I got 7.5 years. Yo, I was blessed up in that courtroom during sentencing. Smoked during trial, found guilty on all counts. That was like 8 charges altogether. Got 7.5 years. Yo, I was geeked going back to jail. Yo, get me back to the block. 7 years, boy. 7 years. 7 years. What? That shit is almost a decade. I got back and reality crashed on me again. I was like, yo, what? I've been locked up for almost 2 years. Still got a pound puppy to do. 5. Shit, I'm never going home. Guard, can I get a request form? I've got some information. I didn't do, but a lot will. So from the time phase, you got to get into bid mode. Now, you might have already been in bid mode prior to getting your time. But now you're getting into another bid mode entirely. The bid mode that's going to carry you through the rest of your time. When you start really thinking about that hustle. How much money can I make while locked up? Who's going to ride with me? How am I going to get a new pen pal if everybody disappears on me? And it's totally different for everybody because for me, I didn't have nobody. So all I was thinking about was that hustle. How many tattoos can I do? Hurry up and get me to prison so I can get my hands on that real tattoo gun, the prison tattoo gun, and try to really get it going. Hey, come on. We got to make these 5 years go by. Let's go. This shit is going too slow, which it will. Bid mode phase. You're going to get in it. What are you going to do to pass the time? Well, one thing that you're guaranteed to do, even though I've mentioned this in the past, how do you make the time go by? How do you do time? Well, you don't think about the outside world, but that's a catch-22. You don't want to think about the outside world and what she's out there doing because that's going to hit the Jake brake on your time. Your time is going to slow the down. Thinking about that outside world. However, you're going to get into that fantasizing, playing house phase at some point when you're going to be thinking about what you're going to do when you get home. How different as a bitch you really are going to do it. When I get home, I'm going to do it super duper califragilistically different. And then they get released and then 3 hours later they locked up again. Damn, Dan, you just get out 3 hours ago. Yeah, I went home and whooped that ass. She ain't sent me no money while I was locked up. You was locked up for 2 whole days. It takes 2 days for a letter to come through the mail. You deserve to be locked up. Fantasizing about what you're going to do when you get released, which could kind of hinder you when you do get released because you want to succeed and become a rapper or start your own daddy do right daycare center or a business or whatever it may be. And you come out here and realize it's not as hard, not as easy as you once thought that it was, could easily send you right back down the wrong course. But you got to keep grinding no matter what it is you're trying to accomplish out here. But that fantasizing phase, I was doing that shit for real. I still had 3 years left. And I'm thinking about how much money I'm going to be making a month, working a job, making $8 to $10 an hour. And how I'm going to supersede all of that and succeed. Okay, well, if I got to work a job making $8 an hour, I'll work 4 jobs. Even though you ain't really supposed to think about the outside world, I think that's more of a prison urban legend. Yeah, so what? You can't control what she's gonna do, but you can think about what you're gonna do when you get out and don't go putting no hands on her. Going trying to find her and bringing her a dozen roses and seeing she's having a picnic with Jody. I thought I could make it work. I thought I could. It's for real, I see it. Do you love them? You do. Oh, I know you do. Like I said, it could be a bit of an urban legend because part of bidding is gonna be preparing for what you're going to do when you get released, which is another phase entirely. I know. Preparing for release, that phase. Some guys might spend their entire time locked up preparing for the time that they get released, which could be added with another phase, cooperating, the cooperation phase. But you're going to have to do that. If you've ever been locked up and you're out here now, you've definitely gone through that phase preparing for getting released. Nobody has ever done time. Actually, I can't say that. I feel like a lot of people probably have done this. And this sounds crazy to think about. Can you imagine anybody who's ever been locked up who never spent not one waking moment of that incarceration preparing for when they got released. They was just in bid mode as soon as they got locked up. This goes back to the beginning with the routine thing. How long does it take you to develop a routine? Dude gets locked up, immediately on the spade table, immediately on the phone, eating him a crushed up ramen noodle with a little bit of chicken seasoning on top of it like it's some Pringles. Yeah, girl, you know, man. I know. Hey. And just does his time from the day he gets locked up to the day he gets released. Never even thinking about what he's doing when he gets out. Somebody, maybe a lot of people, have done their time just like that, and that's crazy. There's only one more phase that I want to mention with this. I'm sure there's a lot more phases that you could think of, and if you think of some others that I didn't mention, comment down below and let us know what those are. But I got to throw in the religious phase. Now, I don't want to make light of religion at all, because there are people who, take religion very, very seriously. And I'm not going to say that I don't. But I know that there's a lot of people who make a mockery, and I've done it in the past myself, of religion. Like you only pray when you need something, you need help. God, please get me out of the back seat of this cop car. Do I have any information? Damn right I do. Thank you, God. Thank you. But religion in prison can be a phase. You don't know how many dudes I have seen calling out Bible study, calling out prayer circle. Prayer circle. Hey, Joe, are you coming to the prayer? Shut the f*** up. I'm on the spade table. I ain't got time for that. And then you run into these dudes while they out here in the free world and they at the Crack Shack Motel. This has been, I'm talking about, I ran into the preacher, the cell block preacher. This dude might as well have been a shot caller in relation to the religion while locked up. He would almost anoint you. This dude was baptizing dudes in the shower. And I run into this dude at the Crack Shack Motel. Joe, why are you at the Crack Shack? I run into this dude at the Crack Shack Motel. I was like 18. Dude's jaw is in left field, looking like Quagmire. Giggity. Wasn't you, what you doing up here? You got a Bible study going on up here? No. No. It can definitely be a phase. And dudes can use religion in prison for all the wrong reasons. Praying that that girl don't go nowhere, but she did. Praying that it works out in court, but it don't. Praying that your information pans out, but they don't ever tell you that you got a change in your release date any earlier. You'd be ready to worship Satan after that. I'm just saying. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!